Hey guys, you know what's really funny is just a little while ago, I stood in this very garage and said, winter is coming. And then I went out and climbed up on top of that boat and look at the band of my hat. I've been sweating like a pig out there. So anyway, the boat is at a spot where it's got to sit for a while. Got a little bit left of this weekend to go, so let's tear into the Jeep, shall we? All right, well, I think I mentioned that I went back and watched the Cut and Buff Professionals, and they got rid of all their orange peel before they buffed it down. So we look at this front fender. Feels pretty smooth to the touch, but definitely see some orange peel. So I'm going to work on this fender again because, remember, this fender is what's giving me a little bit of heartburn because this panel was painted in the first batch. This panel was painted with the second batch. And my brain, my critical eye that's never satisfied with this thing can see a little bit of difference between the two of those. So I'm sort of considering this fender to be the sacrificial fender just in case. But I'm just going to wet sand it a little bit more and see if I can get all that down. And then if I have any clear coat left once I do. So I'll do that for a bit. All right, well, I just stopped for a progress check here, and you can definitely see we're making progress on that orange peel stuff. The question will be, will we have enough clear coat to get it going? Now, the good thing about it is as I'm sanding, the runoff is white or clear, you know, kind of, which tells us, according to the experts, that we are still sanding clear coat and we're not down into our color yet. So I'm alternating a little bit between the 1500 and the 2000 grit. I got the 2000 grit wrapped around the 1500 block. So I'm trying to stick with the 2000 and see if I can get this sorted out. So I'll keep at it and I'll show you that panel when I'm completely done. All right, well, all that was once shiny is now dull. So, oops, I almost tripped over the light there. So I've been all around the Jeep again here. Let's bring the light. And I still have a few little spots that I'll work out here, but I kind of get what the guy was doing. I was watching, you know, he's sanding a little, then he's drying it off, and you're seeing where you still have the egg or the orange peel, like along the bottom here. But when you get it to where it's mostly worked out, then the whole panel just goes kind of dull and you got it covered. Now I'm using 1500 grit right now, and as expected, sorry about that, I'll trim that out if I can, but I was talking as I was closing up the little tripod here thing. So I switched over to a piece of 1500 paper, and I think my sanding block, as I thought, had kind of worn out. So I'm making progress now, and I think what I'll do is I'll get all the way around and get these last little sections kind of done here, and then I'll tear into it with the buffer. Now this makes me want to revisit my hood, all the stuff I've done so far, even dare I say the hood. Maybe not. I'll have a hard look at this though, because I feel in my continuing ongoing educational process of learning how to do all this stuff, I feel like each little step of the way you kind of understand more what you're doing. It worked that way when I was spraying the paint on, and now it works as I'm sanding off the clear coat. So try not to take too much off. I'm trying to, now that I feel like I've got most of the orange peel gone, just go easy, dry it off, check a spot, go, yep, there's a little bit more left to do there, so I'll do that spot and then come back, you know, repeat as needed. So I'm closing in on it here. I'm going to switch up to a piece of 2000 grit and go over this with some 2000. Same thing wrapped around my little sanding block there, keeping it nice and wet, and see if we can't get the last little bit of this stuff out of here, and then switch her back to the buffing wheel and see what happens. So yeah, I'm not going to make you look over my shoulder for much more of this. I think I did at first here. I might, if I tear into, say, the dash again and set up on the table, I might, but this is pretty boring. It's more of the same of what I've been doing all along, sanding and sanding, and then sanding and sanding some more. So the dog's over there in the doorway staring at me. I left the door open to see if she wanted to come out here and hang out with me, but she doesn't. She doesn't like all the sounds of the compressor and all that stuff. So it's just me out here in the garage doing my thing. All right, guys, well, I'm down here, kneeled down by the Jeep, and I just thought I'd give you a look at where we're at now. So I have finished sanding. I'm all done sanding this, and I've made one pass with the lamb's wool polisher and a little cutting compound or buffing compound. So you can see now no orange peel is left. And assuming that some clear coat is left, then we'll be okay. And I'll tell you, gosh, damn it. I'll just tell you, I'm gonna spin you around, okay? Can you see that? You can see what I'm talking about, yeah? This panel versus this panel. And the top, this chunk, the cowl, just as bad. You can see the difference between the two panels. So, and I haven't even pulled the Jeep out away from the wall and looked at my spot over there. I'm gonna try to do that here today. I've still got the car out in the driveway out there. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shove the Jeep over into the center here for a minute, and then I'm going to have a look-see at the other side. All right, well, I just shoved the Jeep over. Let's have a look. Look at that. I don't know how well the light's gonna show that. Let's see if I can get it from being just total glare. There we go. All right, everyone hold your hand up who thinks I got a problem. Here's our joint. Haven't started on this chunk yet here, but so it's covered with dust right now. But that's pretty bad, right? I mentioned the ups and the downs, right? You know what though? I think I have plenty of material. I might need some more clear coat, but I think the handwriting is on the wall here for dear old Dawn. And I mean, I just don't see any way to fix that without doing what I'm talking about here. And you know what I'm talking about. Whole bunch of sanding to get this coat down off of here. I don't know. I'm still going to take a pass with some 1500 grit, and I'm going to work this spot first right now and see what happens. And then I'll see what happens. All right, guys. Well, I'm sure I've told you before that I work in IT, and you don't always get to control what happens in that kind of a business. And bad things happen sometimes. And what I've found over time is that you get to take about 5 minutes to wimp up and feel sorry for yourself. And then it's time to start working the problem. So what I've done is I've pushed the Jeep back over. I put that front fender on the driver's side. I started sanding a little bit. It's obvious that I'm gonna have to repaint the whole thing, the whole tub anyway, the tub and the fenders. So there's no sense beating around the bush. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my 400 grit and go down just to the point where I feel like I'm cutting through all the clear coat and score up the paint, the underlying paint, enough to bond new paint to it. And then we'll throw one more coat of paint across the whole thing, all as one batch. And then we're going to clear coat the bejesus out of it. I'm going to put 3 or 4 coats on there. I'm almost out of clear coat, so I've got to order some more of that before I can do any of that. I mean, I can start the sanding, but I'm emotionally distraught right now. No, I'm not. I'll be fine, but I'm about as far as I can go right now. So I pushed the Jeep over. I made room out here for my little car to come back in the driveway or in the garage. And like I said, it's time to be done feeling sorry for myself and just figure out how to move on and get this done. And I know there's somebody out there who's like, I probably could have told you right from the get-go that you're not going to be able to blend those 2 colors together. Same paint code, same vendor, 2 different takes on the paint. So let that be a lesson. I don't know what the lesson is. Don't do what I did. So 3rd time's going to be the charm. I'm sure of it. I'm not going to do the hood. I'm not going to do the dash. I'm probably not going to do the grill, although we'll see. I might do the grill. But I think what I'll do is I'll wind up with this thing in the middle of the garage. There'll be nothing else around it. There'll be no flat things I have to paint. I'll just be able to knock it out all in one pass. So that's the plan. Knock it all out in one pass and do it again and do it all the same color, plenty of clear coat, no foaming, no running. Yeah, but sorry, you got to wait a little while until I get to that point because I'm out of materials and I'm out of time. So where I'm at right now is I am going to close this up for now. Next you see me, I'll throw one more coat of that primer up on the boat. I don't know if I'll bother you watching me do that. I've got my little water system for the truck that I wouldn't mind getting kind of sorted out a little bit. And then this weekend is coming up the annular eclipse. We're going down to Torrey to watch that. So the weekend will be spent probably down there, and then I've got to get up to Seattle because we've got that boat in the span of the middle of processes that need to get fixed on it as well. So the Jeep can bake for a little while. It's not going anywhere. It's not hurting anything the way it is right now, except my ego and my good temperament. So I'll see you next time around, and thanks for watching as always.